Welcome to Discover Indie Film. I'm your host, Jeff Howard, and I've got two lovely people with me in person. We're not on Zoom. I've got Josh Baker and Chevy Knight. Hey, you two.
Hello.
Hey, Jeff.
And if you need me to say, Josh is the male voice, Chevy's the female voice.
Yes.
It's funny when there's two dudes on the podcast, or two women on the podcast, or two people on the podcast whose voices are similar.
Yeah.
And I think like I have to keep mentioning the name as they speak. I didn't do that at all last podcast. By the way, I said the words last podcast.
Yes.
If you want to learn about these two and the brilliant film they made called Dry, you can actually watch Dry on Vimeo right now, probably, and there will be a link to it in the show notes. But Josh wrote and directed Dry. Chevy was the lead actor. They co-produced it together, and Dry was a short film that was at Sherman Oaks Film Festival this month. Well, last month now, but it was at Sherman Oaks Film Festival in December 2024, and it took home the award, the Filmmakers Award for Outstanding Cast Performance, and it's an excellent film. I highly recommend everybody watch it.
Thank you.
And and so if you want to learn about Dry and these two creative individuals, listen to the podcast before this one and learn all about them, because that was the interview. This is the 4 questions episode. And that's the sound of hands being rubbed together, because I just, it's just fun to talk about film.
Well, it's funny. This was the part one of us was stressing about the most.
It was
It's
me.
not the
I was
interview
stressed.
part.
It
It's
was
these
me.
questions. It's like, oh my God, I hope they think we're cool.
I just want you to think I'm cool. That was my whole thing yesterday. I'm like, oh my God, what do I say?
There's no way you're not going to be cool.
See, that's what I said. Just be yourself, and you'll be cool.
Exactly.
Cool.
And plus, they are, the 4 questions are: name 3 favorite films, name an underrated film, an overrated film, and a lesser-known film for people to seek out. And they were inspired by a friend of mine who's a professional drummer, and he was going to be huge, and then heroin addiction killed his career. And so he goes on Facebook all the time and says inflammatory things like, the most underrated drummer of all time, Neil Peart of Rush, debate me. and so he's been doing that so long that when I started this podcast 7 years ago, I'm like, I'm going to do James's thing, but with films.
That's
There you
Because
go.
he's always doing underrated, overrated. And I thought, well, we can't just do that. We got to add name your top 3. And then I realized top 3 was a shitty question.
Yeah,
It's the worst
I was
question.
like, you should do top 25. That's
Yeah.
way easier for me to answer. It.
So it's not top 3. It's name 3 favorites, which is very intense. It doesn't mean, it could be a guilty. It could be anything. Just if you love watching it over and over, you can name it. Lord knows there's more than 3.
Yeah.
But at least it's not like, ooh, if I don't, And by the way, I always joke, I'm not wearing a black and white striped shirt with a whistle. There's no referee.
You're not going to cut us off at 3.
Yeah.
If you name a 4th favorite, I'm not going to go in and delete it.
Okay. As I get
5th,
pointed at,
6th. If you pulled out a toilet paper roll of film titles,
Here's my scroll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might stop you around number 20.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's fair. Okay, I feel better.
Because the funny thing is, someone wanted me to answer the questions, and I'm like, well, I would probably do my 3 favorites before college, my 3 favorites during college,
Okay, yeah.
then my 3 favorites for my 20s, my 30s, right? Because you're
You change.
there's different eras.
See, I wanted themes. I was starting to make them all themes. I'm like, we could do top 3 New Year's Eve movies. Or
That is cool.
I only came up with
and
2,
actually,
though.
some people, one person I remember was I wanted to choose 1 comedy, 1 drama, and 1 sci-fi or something like that. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. Your favorite because
For genre. Yeah.
yeah, but it's just open-ended. It's
Yeah.
really just to talk about films
Okay.
and to get recommendations, because I have all the time in the world to watch movies.
There you go. Yeah.
But I'm already, based on the interview, I'm going to make sure I watch Teton soon.
Yeah.
And I don't know if no pressure. You don't have to include it in your top.
I won't, but I already mentioned it. Yeah.
Excellent. So who would like to go
I'll
first?
go first if you want, since you did the
Thank
other one first. So 3 favorites.
Let it be known that Chevy was grateful that Josh is going first.
I'm very grateful.
Give you time
Yes.
This is
Think.
not a case of someone, stepping on someone's toes.
No one's doing that.
Far
Yeah.
from it.
3 favorites. Okay. There Will Be Blood.
Duh.
Just because, come on.
My fists are going in the air.
It's the greatest movie ever made. The Celebration, the Dogma 95 film. Mm-hmm. I think seeing that movie changed my life, just in terms of, I didn't know you could do this. Like, why didn't someone tell me this was allowed? Y Tu Mama Tambien, probably for the same reasons. And I'll just throw City Lights in there as a fourth one. I cheated.
Oh, you
Just 'cause
cheater.
I love Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah.
Oh, because I didn't. I was like, "What city lights?" See, yeah,
Charlie
you got
Chaplin.
me. You got
Yeah.
my ignorance on
So
that
I think
era.
this is his best film.
But you just named 3 films that, I'm not gonna lie, easily could be in my easily 3 favorites of mine. Especially There Will Be Blood. But
Yeah.
oh my God, Celebration! I saw that in theaters.
Oh, I'm
wow.
so jealous. Oh my god.
Oh, man, when it came out, I saw it on a date.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
It's like the worst date.
How'd that
movie.
date
But yeah.
go?
Well,
Did
actually-
you have another date or was that it?
Well, actually, the fact that she did not like it was the reason there wasn't another date. So actually, a good first date
Okay,
movie,
you
right?
got that out of the way.
Yeah, because I was like, wait, you didn't appreciate that brilliant fucking movie that was, talk about bold.
Everything about that, the look,
Yeah.
the story, everything. Yeah.
And E Tu Mama is a great one.
Yeah. I love that movie.
Yeah. Even if I might like some of his later films more, but like that kind of started the whole ball rolling too.
See, that's the one that I can always go back to for him. Just for me personally. I don't know. There's something. It's like alchemy. The good ones. It's like, how did you do that? It's amazing.
For sure. All right, Chevy, did we buy enough time for you?
Oh my God. Fuck. Okay.
You can just jump right in.
Okay, so my favorites. Oh my God, there's so many. Okay, I want to sound cool. Wetlands is one of my favorites. A German film based on a book. It's disgusting, and I love every second of it. I've seen it in theaters way too many times with my brother, so that's also really weird. Jeez, what did I even say last night? I love musicals. Little Shop is probably one of my favorites, next to Rocky Horror and Hedwig.
Hedwig.
I know, Hedwig saved my life.
For me, Hedwig is I might cry more during that movie than
It's so
if
good.
I saw Bambi,
Yeah.
Yeah,
which I've never seen.
yeah.
But I assume I would cry.
I do love Hedwig. It's so good. Okay, and third, I'm looking at you
I don't know-
for
I don't know why you're
help.
looking at me.
God.
Should we throw genres at you?
Okay, that works.
Got a favorite sci-fi?
Do I have a favorite sci-fi?
Okay, favorite fantasy? You did a musical.
See, I just feel
What about a horror movie? You love horror.
I do love
What's
horror.
your favorite horror movie? One of your favorites.
One of my favorite horror movies. I mean, Black Christmas. Housebound. There we go.
There you go.
Housebound is another one. New Zealand comedy horror. We watch that all the time.
You did it.
I did it. There's so many more. Oh my
I
God.
know. I'm just going to have fun with
brutal.
it, though. So let's say someone has a 17-year-old
Okay.
under their roof who is big into the jump scares.
Okay.
What would you recommend?
All of the Scream movies. Period. Scream 2 is so good. Okay. Jump scares.
Scream is actually, we went through all, is there a 5th?
There's
Is there a
At
sixth?
the
There's a
time, at the time
six
we
now?
did it, there was just 4.
just watch the 4.
And
4 are great.
It never lets up. I think the quality.
I love Scream.
Because I'm a kid of the 80s. So every sequel was worse than the one before it in the 80s, when, especially with horror, because the budgets would go down
Yeah.
and they bring in cheaper writers. Scream.
I love
every film is good.
I have a theory that Wes Craven actually wanted to be a comedy writer, but he was so good at writing horror that he
Well,
created
he
Scream.
didn't write Scream. But.
Okay, wanted to be a comedy director. Fuck, it's recorded. It's terrible. I love the Scream movies. I have him suffer through them every year.
Yeah.
Jump
Want me
scares.
want me to type 8 minutes, 55 seconds, delete?
Yeah,
Oh
there
my
you go. Yeah.
No, people can know I'm a person.
Yeah, Kevin
Williamson?
Williamson? Yeah.
Silence of the Lambs is probably, I have to say, probably one of my favorite horror movies. It's definitely one of my feel-good movies, which is really fucked up. Like, I'm sad. Let's watch Silence of the Lambs.
It's a good one.
It's a great one. What else? What else do you want to know?
Well, just throw a comedy at us.
Comedy. The South Park movie should not be as good as it is. Bigger, longer, uncut.
Also a musical.
Yeah,
Also a musical.
That's probably my favorite musical.
It's
yeah.
so incredible.
It's like one of the smartest films ever made.
So good.
And I also, to Chevy's point, I love movies that shouldn't be as good as they are. Like, that has no reason to be, like, such a great musical.
Yeah.
But I know is it Trey Parker, Matt Stone loves musicals.
They
so
do.
They just
And they
went
made
all
Book
out.
of Mormon.
Trey Parker was in Newsies.
Really? Oh my
Yes,
God.
I think you're right.
With singing, dancing
Yes,
kids.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
They're amazing.
That is a great film. I've been telling. I'm about to sound like an asshole. I've been telling the damn kid, it's time for you to see the South Park movie, and she
It's
just
so
doesn't
good.
think it'll be good because she thinks it was shitty animation.
It's so,
It's so good. Let's watch it right now.
It's
I'm
so
ready.
good. It's
Yeah.
So Uncle
I've
Fu-
never seen an episode of South Park, but I love the movie. My brother used to work in a movie theater when South Park came out, so he's like, you have to see this movie.
Also, bigger, longer, and uncut. Mm-hmm. My understanding is
It's dirty.
the MPAA rejected their first title,
Oh,
and so they threw that in and got it approved.
yeah.
And,
Yes.
without being and. Yeah, it is the funniest title of all time. Excellent. I'm so glad you brought it in.
Yeah. Yeah. Comedy. Clue.
all right.
Galaxy Quest. That thing you do. Sorry.
That is a great film.
Which one?
Galaxy Quest is
Gal-
much
Yeah.
better than it should be.
It's so
absolutely.
good.
That shouldn't be so good.
Yeah.
Nothing with Tim Allen should be that
Yeah.
good.
Agreed.
It's so good I forget Tim Allen's the star.
Yeah. Great cast.
Oh,
Sexy cast. I have a list on my IMDb of sexiest casts, and Galaxy Quest is on there.
honestly, Sigourney is one of the few people that if she called me up, I'd turn to my wife and go, "You get it, right?
Yeah, you get it.
This is okay.
I'm going
Yeah.
to dinner.
We
right?
have
Yeah.
to go. Yeah.
Yeah, you can come too.
Yeah.
But like, if she tells me to leave you, I probably will.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's Sigourney Weaver.
She stole that wig, by the
You're saying
way.
she looks great as a
Oh, she
blonde.
took the wig home?
Yeah.
She took the wig home. I didn't know that was Sigourney Weaver for probably a year and a half.
When you
Isn't
first
it?
saw the
When I
movie.
first saw the
Yeah.
movie, because I had never seen Alien or Aliens or anything like that. I had only seen Galaxy Quest. I'm like, who is this woman?
You didn't see Avatar? Good for you.
So
Oh my God.
really funny. Last night when we were talking about these questions, I was like, okay, most overrated film. I'm going to say Avatar, but I've never seen it, so just going to say that.
Well,
Never seen it. She's in that?
fair
Yeah.
enough.
She's
Well, she's in all the Cameron films.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much. Almost.
Titanic?
I think
Did he do?
Not Titanic.
Did he
not
do
the
Titanic?
Abyss, but his newer ones. She's
Oh,
on.
I see.
Well,
Yeah.
starting with Aliens.
Yeah.
Got it.
Fair enough. But actually, Chevy, you get to start off with the underrated question. You can name the underrated film first.
Okay. I did mention Porky's earlier. It's very underrated.
stick to it.
I can stick to it.
Because that was in the other episode anyway.
That was.
So everyone should watch Porky's.
Everyone should watch Porky's,
1, 2, and
please.
3.
I've actually never seen the third one. Maybe we should do that.
So
Different.
Porky's is your underrated.
I don't.
It doesn't have to be your underrated. It's your honorable mention.
Honorable mention. There we go. Underrated. Fuck. Can you go? You go first. Josh
Only
goes.
because we just saw it and I haven't seen it for a long time, and I think people should see it more. Is Summer of Sam, the Spike Lee film?
Oh yeah, we did
I'm
just
just a
watch
huge
that.
Spike Lee fan. There's few directors whose like cinematic language for some reason just resonates with me so powerfully. And that film in particular, I remember seeing it in high school and like, whoa, what was that? And I think it's not perfect, but I think a lot of films, the imperfections are what make it so great, just because usually they're trying something new or they're doing something different. And I think that film in particular, they do a lot. They try a lot. And for me, a lot of it really sticks and a lot of it works. And we were talking about this yesterday, just the perspective they take that so easily could have been, here's a movie about David Berkowitz, which is, fine, whatever. I don't really need to glorify serial killers anymore. But instead they take the perspective of how what he was doing affected a neighborhood. And I think that's such a fascinating way in. And such a great performances.
I appreciate all references to Spike Lee. I kind of
Yeah.
think I love his work.
I just watched I watched Jungle Fever for the first time over the summer, and I fucking loved it. I was like, this movie's amazing. Why did people, the ending, I get why people kind of make fun of it, but just his prowess is undeniable. Oh my God.
And you are under the roof of people who sing songs from school days all the time.
Oh my God,
Hey.
yes.
Yeah, go figure. Go figure. Especially that person loves to sing songs from school days.
Oh.
It's true.
Aw.
It's true. All right, did we buy you enough time for
I
your
think
underrated?
so.
Do it.
Underrated. Oh my god. I like cult movies, I guess. I don't know. Serial Mom.
Love
is
it. Great
so
one.
good.
That was John Waters.
John
one
Waters,
with
Kathleen Turner,
Kathleen Turner.
Matthew Lillard. I think his first.
Sam Waterston.
Yeah, Sam Waterston.
That's a great choice.
Great, thank
Great
you.
choice.
Fuck yeah, I did it. We love Serial Mom so much. I showed Josh Serial Mom for the first time.
Just this last
Just
year.
this last
'cause
year.
We went to his exhibit at the Academy Museum.
Yeah.
So we watched a bunch of his films.
And I would have to say Crybaby also. If we're gonna, I mean, I love
I
love John Waters.
The Waters.
Yeah.
John, I love you so
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
We could have a hour
We could have a-
conversation just-
exactly.
well, because you start with Pink Flamingos,
Mm-hmm.
and then you end up with like art films. Like he really, he really leaned in. I mean, he never walked away from his roots,
Mm-hmm.
but both he and Pedro Almodovar, like they started very exploitational and ended up like the best filmmakers around.
Yeah.
Love those two.
Yeah, I love John Waters.
Yeah.
Yeah. And far more than the king of trash.
Yeah.
He really is.
All right, well, I will stop enforcing rules, and I'm just going to throw it out to the table. Who wants to name an overrated film or two first?
You already
Never seen it.
Oh man, I hate talking down about filmmakers because I know how hard it is to make movies. So I'll just leave it at that.
Fair enough. Well, I'll give you my example. I'm going to throw this in because you mentioned There Will Be Blood. So I like to say that my overrated, if I was forced to do this, would be No Country for Old Men. Because even though it's a great film, it's great. It won Best Picture over There Will Be Blood. And it's not even in my top 5 Coen Brothers films. Like, there's 5 Coen Brothers films I would put ahead of No Country for Old Men, just for me.
Yeah.
So for me, No Country for Old Men is overrated. It shouldn't have gotten Best Picture.
It's not
There Will Be Blood
bad,
should have gotten
it's just
wasn't even the best
overrated.
movie that
Yeah.
year. So I just call it overrated for that
That's
reason.
fair.
And so that's my way of saying that overrated doesn't mean bad.
Okay, so on that note,
Oh, there you
I
go.
will follow Jeff's very conscientious trail.
Okay.
And say Ordinary People only because it won Best Picture over Raging Bull, and that's just a crime. Come on.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. It was a meaningful drama at the time.
Yeah, and again, it's not bad by any means, but just
No.
comparatively doesn't really hold up. Just for me. Sorry, Robert Redford.
Cool.
Bob's all right.
I think he's
Bob's all
He
right.
can hang. He
Yeah,
can hang with
he
it.
could hang.
He was probably like, "Why the fuck am I getting these awards?
Yeah,
for,
right.
for my little drama."
Yeah.
Really, but let's face it, the Oscars are about star fucking anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, we shouldn't use that as a beacon or meter of success by any means. Your turn.
Okay, overrated. So when I watch a movie and I don't care for it, I say that it's cute, which means I don't ever have to watch it
I know
again.
exactly what movie you're
You know what I'm about to say? So I think The Departed is one of the most overrated movies.
It's a cute film.
It's a boy movie, and it was cute.
I showed it to her for the first time, and it ends. She's like, "Well, that was cute." It's like, I think you and I have very different definitions of the word "cute," but cool. I know you didn't like it.
It was definitely a boy movie. It was a dick pic,
Yeah.
as we created last night. Not a chick flick, a dick pic. Yeah. What?
That really does expose how sexist our society is that we have the term chick flick.
That's
Yeah,
what we were
exactly.
discussing.
We
Yeah.
don't have
So a film is for men,
right.
and then if
Chick
it's for
flicks.
women, it's a
Yeah.
chick flick.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Bullshit.
I wish I could say that I saw the Departed's an adaptation. It's a
Infernal
Japanese
Affairs, yeah.
film, right?
Yeah.
I wish I could say, well, the Japanese one is better, but I haven't seen the Japanese one.
I saw the Japanese one a long time ago, and I was under the influence, let's say, so I don't remember a lot of it. But I remember it being good.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
cute.
sometimes I get really excited to show Chevy a movie, and then she doesn't like it, and it makes me question why I like it. And I'm like, she's kind of right.
Oh.
Not all the time.
That's
Like,
recorded. That's
showed
so
her-
great.
I showed her Challengers, which was like one of my favorite movies that came out this last year, and she wasn't a huge fan, but I still like it.
That's good.
Yeah,
Good.
also watching it again always shows you more.
Absolutely.
And,
Yeah.
and sometimes watching it again with someone else will open up your mind to more or less of the
Yeah,
film.
exactly. Yeah.
But-
Or revisiting. So when we started dating, revisiting movies that like I used to love when I was younger. I showed him, and then halfway through, I'm like, why the fuck did I like this movie?
Oh, yeah.
But also, it's a time and place. We watched American Psycho. So then, of course, I was like, have you seen Rules of Attraction? I used to love this movie. Why did I love this movie?
I don't know.
I have no fucking
Yeah,
idea.
sometimes maybe it's the mood you were in when you first saw it.
I think
Absolutely,
also
yeah.
the time, because you had James Van Der Beek, who's like right out of Dawson's Creek, and he's doing a lot of crazy shit on Rules of Attraction. Anyway, it was all the WB people in there. CW. Anyway.
Yeah. Excellent. We're almost there. I was going to add that I know some people, they didn't do it, but they were going to start. They asked me if we started a podcast where people, you do like a 15-minute talk about one of your favorite films from your youth, and then we stop and we watch it.
Oh my God.
And then
That'd be
we see if it
horrifying.
holds
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, some stuff just doesn't hold up.
That's
Oh, no.
true. I have a couple of friends who've started podcasts where they ask their friends their favorite cult movies, and then they theme a party around it, and they watch the movie and they review it. It's very cool. I don't think they do it anymore, but I enjoyed that.
Sounds
that
fun.
was fun.
Movies should be communal. All right, the
Agreed.
last question. A lesser-known film that people should seek out. 3, 2.
The Hill.
The Hill.
It's a Sidney Lumet movie from the 60s, I believe. Mm-hmm. I was finally just able to get a copy of it over the summer, and then Chevy very graciously gave me a copy for Christmas, so I'm going to watch it again. Yeah. But I'm a huge Sidney Lumet fan. And obviously, you know, he's done towering films like Dog Day Afternoon and Network and all these things, but I had never even heard of The Hill until I read his book. Then I was like, what is this movie? And I was reading all these glowing reviews, but it never really got a release out here, or if it did, it was very small in the 60s. And Sean Connery was a huge movie star back then, and even the movie itself was really hard to find, but God bless the library.
God bless
God
eBay.
bless the library.
So I would say The Hill. Everyone should watch that.
The
Incredible.
Hill. Lumet's The Hill.
Yeah, about prisoners of war, World War II, and just the conditions under which they live. But just he's such a remarkable director, and
Yeah, I
his
don't think I've ever
staging and
seen a
block.
film of his that I didn't think was
Yeah,
great.
yeah, he's except for The Wiz, but that's fine.
Oh, he did The Wiz?
Yeah,
My wife
Everyone has one.
My wife loves The Wiz, and I've refused to watch it with her. I'm like, I just can't.
Yeah.
I just can't.
I have the soundtrack on vinyl. Thank you, Mom. We're a big musical family.
So yeah, The Hill.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
I have 3.
Do it.
Okay, so continue on John Waters. Cecil B. Demented. I feel people should seek it out, especially if you want to make films. I think that was one of the first things I showed Josh that I was really scared to show him that I
loved
loved.
it. It was great, yeah.
Whew, thank God. The Host. Who does that? My Korean boyfriend.
Oh, the Bong Joon-ho
Yes.
film? Yeah.
Love that. And I know probably everybody knows it, but I think everybody needs to watch The Birdcage because it's the greatest film of all time. That's mine.
The Birdcage is hilarious.
It's so good.
Hilarious. Another Mike Nichols film.
Yeah.
There you go. Although I'm the one who brought up Nichols, I think, in
did.
the previous podcast.
Well,
not
I
even
almost
this
brought him
one.
up because the new movie we're trying to get off the ground was very much inspired by Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf.
Oh,
Yes.
nice. I saw that film in a college class. We read the play and then we watched the movie.
I love that. Both the play and the movie I think are so great.
Yeah, so great. All right. Well, wonderful. And now we'll wrap it up. Because the whole point of these 4 questions episodes is they're not as long as the interviews. Although Lord knows, like, it can go.
We could talk
go on,
movies
yeah,
we
all
could.
day.
We totally could. All right. Well, first, there will be a clickable link in the show notes to the film Dry that Josh and Chevy made together. You should see it. And now I'll just ramble off. Thank you for listening to the Discover Indie Film Podcast. If you want to learn more about this podcast, I forgot to say this last time, or the TV series born from it, go to discoverindiefilm.com. Yeah, it's kind of stopped now for various reasons. Or at DIF Wins on social media. Dry played at Sherman Oaks Film Festival. We hold that one every December. You can learn more at ShermanOaksFF.com, and it's at Sherman Oaks F on social media. It's Sister Festival in June. Same theater, same team, different name. Is Film Invasion Los Angeles. You can learn more about that if you go to filminvasionla.com or at filminvasionla on social media. And finally, just go to indiechannel.tv. There's cool shit on there.
Do it.
Everyone should go.
Yeah.
Chevy, Josh. Thank you both so much.
Thank
Jeff.
you.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
Almost makes up for the fact that I didn't do Niagara.
No.
Yeah.
But it was really a pleasure. And
Yeah. Thank you so
Really-
much
Thank
for
you
having
for
us. on.
having us.
Like you both and
Thank you.
love the film.
Thank you.
There's this weird thing. I'll close out this podcast with I don't understand it. Because you'd think, when I was on the festival circuit in the 90s, people were just jerks.
Mm-hmm.
And, you'd see, I don't know if it's because everyone, wanted to be the next Kevin Smith or Ed Burns and thought, an indie film at a festival could make you rich. But people were oh, jerks. And now, everyone making films, they're good people.
That's what we said after the gala. It's this is so great because everyone was so cool and
Aren't
just
they
easy
cool?
to talk to, and no one had an ego.
Yeah.
It was
I
a
know,
breath of fresh
literally.
air. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we hold mixers throughout the year, so
Cool.
hopefully
We'll be there.
Hopefully we'll see you there.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you both.
Thanks,
Thank
Jeff.
you.
And thank you everyone for listening.